You've got the cutest little baby face.
Bob Cumings wasn't always that tall, but by the age of 8, he had already developed his award-winning smile. By high school, he looked pretty much the way he does now, though perhaps his hair was a bit darker. Bob liked to play basketball in high school and in the Marine Corps. At Boston University, he was co-captain of the Terriers. And somewhere in all of this, he won a trophy, but we're not sure what for. Then he graduated from college. Within 30 years, still dreaming of his wunderkind years of sports prowess, he would begin posing for fake magazine covers and telling people that he was once a Celtics draft choice. What happened in between? Well, from 1959 to 1975, we're not sure. We're not even sure he knows. We think Carolyn knows, but she's not talking. We know it has something to do with this car. But from 1975 until now, Bob Cumings has been Mr. Boston, the president of the Greater Boston Convention and Visitors Bureau. During the past 15 years, Bob Cumings has compiled an impressive list of achievements. In the past 15 years as a CVB president, it is estimated that Bob Cumings has consumed close to 2,000 gallons of beer and devoured over 1,200 shrimp and close to 500 pigs in a blanket. He probably would have eaten more than 500 pigs in a blanket, but Gary Sealand was only in Boston for about half of that time. During that 15 years, he would change his hairstyle 5 times. And point to over 130 hand-painted signs that no one would ever read. Bob Cumings persuaded Michael Dukakis to run for president. He talked Tip O'Neill into retiring. And he once convinced Ted Kennedy and Kevin White that the Heinz Convention Center would be bigger than McCormick Place. Bob Cumings made selling his city an art, and like most artists, he had his major periods of note. Let's face it, we've all had this period. It's when he made speeches that were so boring that even people at the head table left. It's when he did a long series of TV interviews that never aired. It's when he had thousands of pictures taken awarding plaques, drawing for prizes, and handing out checks. It's when nobody wanted to be at the press conference, when he would be the only one clapping proudly, and when even he could not help but being bored. We never really understood this one. We were actually afraid to ask. We do know, however, that George was somehow involved also. He used to say he wore them so that people would remember him, that they made a statement. People did remember him. They'd say things like, "Hey, look at that jerk in those pants." And, "Yeah, I remember him. He wore those weird pants." His friends would try to be diplomatic by referring to them in euphemisms like multicolored pants and colorful clothes.
Well, Bob, I don't know how I'm going to put up without seeing all of those multicolored pants that you wear with the seagulls on them. And
I'll miss your colorful clothes. You kind of woke me up every day when we'd be on meetings and conferences, etc.
When during sales calls we went in New York City, and they're still laughing about this short, bald-headed guy crossing Fifth Avenue with this big jerk about 2 o'clock in the morning.
Well, Snyder never could be diplomatic. Bob quit being bored and jerky and started doing fun things, like screaming. He started hanging out with bag ladies, had the self-confidence to be seen with even taller men, frequently cut loose, and dressed better. Here's how 3 friends recalled his Renaissance days.
Back here by popular demand because we just thought of a story that either occurred outside Melbourne or outside Sydney, and you wonder why this is here. I'm reminded of a train ride that you and Pat Tierney and I took, and you big sucker, had your knees up sort of like this in about a 2-foot train, and in your own way you were yelling, "Let's go, Tierney and Snyder, let's go!" And as this little toy train approached a bend, you said, "Okay, here we go!" And that's exactly what happened. The train fell over, and all that I can remember, the last thing is Cumings said, "Let's get the hell out of here!" So we got the hell out of here, and they're still looking for you, Bob.
I think one of the most fun things I've ever done is to have you in Cincinnati having Skyline chili and finding parts of your anatomy left in the men's room at my office. So
I'd like you to explain to everyone here tonight how you got the hole, all those holes in your underwear that we saw at 2 o'clock in the morning at the Sheraton Boston. I'd also like you to explain to them what was strapped to your leg at the Sheraton in Sydney.
Throughout his CVB career, Bob was a leader, a man who would change the lives of his friends, a man who earned the deep respect of his colleagues.
Yeah. Well, tell me who we're talking to first of all.
hi, I'm Wally Ballou, Director of Progressive Marketing, Wally World, California. And I'm delighted to say hello to you, Bill Cushing, in hope that you will do well in your new job. Cummings? Bob Cummings? No, who's Bob Cummings? Sorry, wrong guy. Actually, you've had quite an impact on my life, and you've changed my life greatly, and actually you've changed my physical structure as well. Whenever I'm around Bob, it's I always feel like having a beer for some reason. I don't know. You know, he's the kind of guy that, like I say, has impacted my life professionally, and I don't know. I never really enjoyed beer until I was around Bob, and now that he's leaving, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but boy, I sure like that beer.
Don't go to Boston because they were going to lower the outer drive and it's going to be a mess traffic. They only got one tunnel coming into the city. It's the pit. And you know the problem's here. You know, so now where you really want to go is right here. And by the way, this one is super. All right, great city, great town.
Okay, hi Bob. Let me tell you what, we've really missed you down here in Lexington, and I know the last time you were down, you came down with a gang to go to a Boston U UK game, and now that Patino has hired one of, or y'all have hired one of Patino's ex-coaches at Boston U, that I know you're going to be coming back down a lot more often, and you're going to get an opportunity to see you're going to get an opportunity to see UK kick Boston U all over the court again.
Bob, I understand that friends of yours are making this video. Since I'm not a friend of yours, I don't think I should do it. Secondly, I don't want to be your friend. Bob, good luck in your new endeavors. You're the only smart one I know to get out of this crazy business. Come see us in New Orleans.
Okay, here's what some other friends had to say.
Oh, good day, Bob.
Does that sound all right?
No, I'm not a shrimp on the bar.
You're not Paul Hogan.
Yeah, good day, Bob. From all your friends in Australia, in the bureaus, I'd like to just take this opportunity of wishing you and Caroline all the very best. I'm sure we're going to see more of you in the future. And just remember, sport, you'll always be regarded as being pretty big down under. Take care of yourself.
But I've told you this personally, and I really mean it, that when guys like you leave the business, some of the starch goes out of it. And we're the losers for you getting out. I think you and Carolyn are going to have a great life, and I want you to know that Connie and I really think an awful lot of you. We love you a lot. Wish you the best.
Bob, you know, many people are probably saying goodbye at this point. All I have to really say is thank you. And thank you for what you did for me, really in bringing me into the circle, if you will, in IACVB. You were a great supporter in getting me into the loop. It's something I certainly won't forget for many years to come. Marty and I have enjoyed our relationship with you and Carolyn, and obviously look forward to seeing you many times.
And now that you've gone straight and gotten out of the Convention Visitor Bureau business, I remember all the times we've had over the years, the good times, the hard times, when we worked together on accomplishing all the things that we developed and worked on during the time that you served on the board and on the committees. And I know that you know, we were up for a lot of things and down for a lot of things, but we handled together. And I just wish you good luck, and to you and Carolyn, from Shirley and me. Lots of luck. Wonderful knowing you, and let's not lose track of each other. Great.
That was pretty shitty, Dick.
Is that all right?
Actually, I have to tell you, I can't tell you most of the things that tickle me about Cumings that he has done. He's done a lot of good things for IACVB, and I love him and Carolyn and their family, and we've had great times together. But the good times, probably I wasn't even there, and that's when Carolyn and Bob were sailing in the Caribbean, and when they were sailing in a hurricane on the Chesapeake Bay. I arranged for the boat, and they had 7 wonderful days of nonstop rain, and we had the Coast Guard out looking for them because there was 100-mile-an-hour winds on the Chesapeake. And of course Bob sailed through as normal and had no problem, and visited and had a good time. Bob, I just can't tell most of the stories I know about Bob.
Bob and Carolyn, I'm so very pleased to have this opportunity to be with you. And I owe you so very much, not only for your friendship and compassion and your good sense of humor, but something in a very tangible way. You may not very well recall this, but at one point in time during your tenure, you convened in San Francisco. During that time, you may recall that getting off the plane, Timmy was part of your company. And there was a young lady from the Moscone Convention Center who was assigned to escort and welcome Timmy during his arrival in our city. Following that opportunity to walk from the gate to the car with Timmy, number one, we had one lady on our staff with the convention center who was distinctively ruffled by the occasion, and Timmy later on told me that this was a young lady I had to get to know much better because he thought that she was quite attractive. I have no idea how Timmy knew that, but I have a good idea how he might have known it. But nonetheless, that lady has now become my wife, and I thank you very much for that introduction and that motivation to marry Frances. On behalf of both of us, and you will have heard this statement before, but I'll certainly say it again, we both wish you very best wishes for your future, and we ask that the Lord bless you with a very gentle breeze to guide you in your new voyage.
A year ago, you and I were doing a show together in Boston, and you did a great job. I really enjoyed working with you at that time, and you gave us one of the best conventions we've ever had. You're a real pro, Bob. You're leaving the Boston Convention Bureau. It's a big loss for them, but you're going to go on and do bigger and better things. Congratulations, Bob, on your new career.
Bob, just want to say it's been great knowing you. Listen, I don't know many guys that would, for 16 years, beat their head against the side of a building the way you have to make things happen in Boston.
I just want you to know I've been in the business just about 10 years and looked up to you more ways than one. You know, you're going to be missed on the trail, and I want you to practice your hook shot now that you've got some time. And also I look forward to seeing you down in the Caribbean.
Hi, Bob. This is a hello and maybe a goodbye, too, from some of your great friends in Winston-Salem. We're sorry to see that you're not going to be in the business anymore. You've always been somebody we looked up to. Take care, Guy. We miss you and stay in touch. See ya.
This is Rick Myers from Atlanta. I want to welcome you to our city. I understand you're going to have a lot of free time now, and we'd like you to come down there and enjoy a little bit of the South.
I know that you and Carolyn will just have a great time, and whatever you do in the future, you've done a great job for Boston.
Bob, from the heart, we're going to miss you. You're one of the greats. I'll miss you on the golf course and on the tennis court.
Keep that good humor, and see you around.
I can't believe that I would be standing here as a Piston crying about a Celtic leaving, but Bob, I'm really going to miss you. I think you've been one of the great leaders of this industry.
What I won't miss is your overhead in tennis. I can remember various parts of my body that I won't mention that got hurt pretty badly with that hit of yours. But seriously, I have enjoyed working with you and Carolyn, and I wish you the best, and I want you to include San Diego on your tall ships visit so I'll have a chance to see you. Good luck.
So that's the story of Bob Cumings, the guy who was always the tallest in the crowd, the guy who always had the biggest smile. We loved him, jerk pants and all, and we still do. The showman, the legend, the best ever at selling his city. The man who will always have friends all over the world. One final question. Does this guy love life or what?